Hello everyone. We'll just start with a sneeze, why won't we? Okay, sure. I wasn't expecting that. Hello. Thank you for coming to the stream. I'm going to be working today on more Eldritchrune ending pages. Ugh. That's sneezies. Today we are doing character cleanups. I think this is part 9, if I recall correctly. So lots of sibling angst underway. I know. Oh, almost here for the sneeze, but you're still here first. And thank you for subscribing. Oh my goodness, 30. That's insane. Holy moly. Thank you for being subscribed for so long. I super appreciate it. Thank you also for putting up with my ridiculous sneezies. Okay. Man, it's actually been a while since I've done some character cleanup stuff, so let's try and get into it. But thank you for coming. Wait, there's a tooth there. Got a Susie tooth. No, you're getting close. I see it. I see 29. One more month. Oh. Whoa. Hello. Thank you for coming. You missed my sneezies. Haha. I got them in before we started. I'm sure they'll come back again. Just in the nick of time. Whoa. Ugh, it's all cold and rainy out today, but I gotta go out and do one more bit of shopping. Tried to do it yesterday and I couldn't find it, so I'll try again. It's him. It's the boy that we'll hopefully see in chapter 5. We better. I've been waiting this long. Let us see the boy. Let us see him. Again, I do need to do like a couple more scenes focusing on him. I'm not sure when this will be. Sometime in the future. It pulls up. Oh no! That would be really sad if even Paper Trail was kinder than Canon. No. You will never see him. Use your imagination. Chris like, haha, I've successfully kept him a secret from you, player. You'll never find my brother now. I locked him in a hole. Yeah, I'm not super fond of the idea, oh, it's all a simulation kind of thing, because like those kinds of ideas of like, oh, it's all a simulation, or oh, it's all, you know, a dream, or it's a time loop or whatever. The problem is, once you get into that territory, the story then kind of has to become about that. Like, if they're in a simulation, then the story has to become like escaping the simulation. If they're in a time loop, then the story has to become, okay, we have to escape the time loop. Because otherwise, like, what are we doing here with that? Why introduce this element if this is not, you know, if we're not going to actually do anything with it? Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you liked it. I'm glad it went over well. And this is a long one. We gotta get it out. So yay, I'm so glad that you liked it. I'm always excited to put out more. I know it's a long wait now between various updates, but I'm trying. Thank you. Yeah, basically, if things were a simulation, it would have to be about escaping the simulation, because otherwise, then why are they in the simulation? It's not like we need to know this is a video game. Like, we're well aware. The strength. He's just, you know, being impulsive mostly. Like, please don't bite me. Also, hello. Thank you for coming. Let's just trusting that we'll not get most of him bitten off. My most of me. And that was a running joke among friends in my college, and I can't remember where it came from. My most of me. I need to bring that one back, though. I think it's still funny. Oh, was it Teen Girl Squad? That's probably it. We had so many. We had so many Teen Girl Squad and like Homestar Runner jokes. Those were most of our college jokes. So yeah, that tracks. It was probably that. I remember most Teen Girl Squad quotes, but I don't remember that one specifically. But that does sound like Teen Girl Squad. Okay. It's all good. This one should be safe because this is mostly just discussion. Like, there's not too much action stuff happening here. But if you need to, bolt for spoiler's sake, then do whatever you would like. I do think I'm at least the last 5 parts or so, 5 or 6 parts of the ending. I'm just not gonna be able to stream. Maybe I can do like backgrounds for them. Because, backgrounds probably aren't going to reveal anything, but actual characters might need to forego doing that on stream, because I think that might be too spoilery. But I can get up to, like, part maybe 14, 15? This is, like, part 9. So, running out of legroom for that, although I still have, like, a lot to do in terms of, like, also shading previous parts, so... There's always that. We got a lot to do. Oh yeah, that is still to come. That is a part that we have not gotten to yet. Oh yeah, no probalo. I try to reblog like fan things people have done for Eldritchrune and other stuff because I really appreciate them. Thank you. Human-looking chicken nuggets. Yeah, there's multiple threads that need to be tied up with the ending. Like there's stuff with the mayor and Noelle. Stuff with, attacking the fortress. Stuff with Azrael. Stuff with Ralsei. Stuff with, the Knight, which I gotta do a bit more of that in the actual comic, too. Even though the Knight's not gonna be as cool as Canon Knight, it's okay. I know, she's kind of like, why are you yapping? I want to have a food. Yeah, Ralsei is pretty much going to be like the last thing we deal with. Yeah, we haven't mentioned, we haven't actually met them in the comic yet. But that'll happen at some point, even if it's just a brief meeting. Yeah, dealing with the stuff with Ralsei is probably going to be last, and that's probably going to be the most spoilery, so that's probably what I will not stream. Bird-flavored human. What would a bird-flavored human be? Do all humans just taste like chicken? I always thought the assumption was that humans taste more like pork. I have no personal experience with this, but I think that would be logical. They are torn. They're bird that they taste like Mountain Dew Code Red. That's what the Code Red is blood. Gamer fuel. Gamer blood. Only the blood is human blood. That's all gamers. Cannibals say pork? Okay, well I will trust the word of cannibals. They would know better than I would. Yeah, I have no personal experience with that. Thought it was venison? Huh. I don't know, I feel like in makeup humans would be closer to pigs than deer, but... Can't pigs get... Aren't pigs like one of the few animals that can get sunburned? This is like a... Also, pigs are omnivores, like humans are. And I don't, like, how much stuff is poisonous to pigs? I imagine pigs can actually eat a lot of things that a lot of other animals can't. Just like humans. Huh. You gotta do you put sunscreen on the pigs, or just make sure the pigs are, like, you know, in the shade? How do you prevent your pigs from getting sunburned? Because, I imagine as a pig that would be miserable. Actually, what they probably do is, that's why they wallow in the mud. It's like, this is our sunscreen. I guess a lot of animals probably wallow in the mud in order to protect yourself from the sun and cool down. That's what mud's for. Spriter's resource is very useful. Things like ballistic tests. Interesting. And there was no difference between human and pig. Oh my goodness, I saw that stupid trailer for Animal Farm. And I'm like, what are you guys doing with Animal Farm? This is like the most basic of basic, like... Huh, the Russian Revolution was bad, actually? Little allegories, and you're, like, yassifying it? What is going on? It was so weird. I didn't like it at all. This is not a funny, fun story. The more you know. Oh, so you can put sunblock on a pig. Okay. Neat. Make sure you protect your pigs from the sun. Susie, take 5, pretty much. Animals always funny. Just watch Watership Down and The Plague Dogs. Animals funny and cute. I did actually finish reading Animal Farm, or not Animal Farm. Obviously I've read Animal Farm, that was a while ago. But I also read wait, I make sure I do their fingers right too. I read Watership Down. It was really good. I really liked it. Really good, great characters. Great world building. You can see why it's a classic, but it definitely is very much and like, we're going to describe rabbits dying in horrific ways. Chris, you baka! I was eating. Chris like, no, I changed my mind. You can't eat my parents yet. Okay, you should read the book Animal Farm. It's very short. It's not a difficult read. It's, you know, it's designed kind of for a younger audience anyway. I can't remember if it was like the old animated one or the live action one. They're both fine. I think they both have the seriousness of it across. But, I mean, like, the book itself is, you know, again, it's allegory, but the movie I saw that they were advertising for it, the new movie, I'm like, why are you making, like, weird little jokes here? Why are you quipping? Why are you quipping an animal farm? Stop that. Stop, like, minionizing it. Oh my goodness, this is so weird. Deeply weird. Is it like Hobbit long? I think the Hobbit's even longer. Animal Farm's pretty short. It is not a long book. It's like along the lines of like Lord of the Flies. Like they're both pretty short books. Yeah, we're gonna turn 1984 into a rom-com. Is that what we're gonna do? Aha, what happens when this one proletariat wants to get together with Julia? Will they betray each other to the state? Like, what are we doing? Ah! I mean, 1984 as a rom-com certainly is a take. Maybe somebody skilled could make it work, but I don't trust the current Hollywood, marketing system to not to be able to do that. I kind of maybe Hollywood kind of got their fill of dystopias out of the teen dystopia, which is different from the actual dystopia, which is usually, hey, this society would be fucked up if it happened, wouldn't it? Make sure it doesn't happen. Don't do it. Don't do it. It'll be bad if it does. See how bad it is. Don't do it. Oh yeah, it always does. They're particularly bad right now. What with I can't talk about this stupid Warner Brothers merger. I'll just get mad. I'll just get mad again. So I probably should avoid that for the sake of my early morning blood pressure or whatever. Ugh. I'll get mad if I think about what both Warner Brothers and Disney are doing. Both of them so... I'm not happy with the state of it. I'm not. It's a mess and a half. Although I still maintain that the dystopia, no matter who wins, we lose. We do. Even the winners of that are going to lose. Good grief. It's just losing all around. Yeah, if you want to talk dystopias that were the most accurate, I think Fahrenheit 451 has thus far been the most accurate in terms of predicting a current dystopia. I can't remember when that was written. I think it was in the 50s. A lot of them were written back then. Or just first half of the 20th century. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's bad. And the Disney one is bad because like it's only gonna end in like tragedy. Nobody wants it, and it's going to just Watch out! I gotta do something else, or I'm gonna scream non-stop for 3 hours, and you probably don't want that. Ooh. I'll say, or Asriel's like, I don't want this either. Please do not. I'll put you back on. Oh yeah, annoying dogs here too. Netflix was not going to be buying Disney anytime soon. There were talks to buy Disney by other companies like back in the 80s when it was in some serious financial trouble, but Netflix obviously did not exist in the 80s. Annoying dogs watching. Oh, I loved Mouse Guard. It's gonna keep doing this to Bone too? Ah! I wanna go to heaven. Yeah, Mouse Guard is very Redwall-esque. I think it's graphic novel series. I don't know if there's also novels, but at least graphic novels. I think I have one of them that I picked up once. Although I think Redwall is the OG. Even if, hot take, Outcast of Redwall was should not have ended that way. Let's not do a species essentialism with mice. Yeah, Mouse Guard does have very nice art. Chris, you promised I could eat your family. Chris. Don't forget, you promised. I imagine the canon promise is probably even worse, though. Yeah, no, Mouse Guard's very good. And again, I really wish they could give us an animated adaptation of Bone sometime without it being screwed over. Can E.R. Rousey use more than one soap? Probably. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. We are doing some cleanup drawings for part 9, I think. Okay, so yeah, can he use more than one soap? Probably. But in this case, he's just focused on Chris's. Yeah, I love Redwall, but a little bit species essentialism, which is kind of crappy because I thought you could have done some really interesting stuff with, hey, here's a, quote-unquote evil species raised in, a nice environment. Can they be changed? And apparently the answer to that is no, which sucks. I did like Pearls of Lutra, though, and it seems like a lot of people didn't like that one. I just liked anything that expanded upon the world. I kind of feel like the original Redwall was kind of started more in the vein of like, oh yeah, this is like, Mouse Kingdom rules and that, humans exist, but, mice have their own, rescuers-esque society separate from humans. And then they just kind of dropped that as they went on, and it's like, no, this is, just Kingdom of Mice and woodland creatures and humans, whatever, we don't really know what they're doing, if they exist. Which is fascinating. It seems like there was a jump with that mid-series. It was like, I'm angry and I'm gonna be angry about it for a long time. Yeah, I mean, also, like, they're all speaking human language. He's like, I can't fill in here. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. You said I could eat your folks. It's like Alfie's whenever I preparing to give her cricket, she just hops up on the rock like, oh, it's food time. Hooray. At first we have to season them. Susie's like, I don't care about that. No, we have to find a big enough salt shaker. Yeah, that makes sense. With the usually it's like, oh, okay, the first book was meant to be a standalone. And then you're doing a series with it, and it's like, oh. I don't know if tacos exist in this world yet. They probably do. When was a taco invented? And who invented the taco? I don't know. I do not know the history of tacos. Or lots of food of that caliber. Like a food history blog or something like that. I'm also going to make sure that I gave Chris the correct number of fingers on that one hand. I know I'm going to forget. Aw. That's kind of, doing the J.R.R. Tolkien thing then. That, I did this for, I almost forgot about Susie back there. I did this to write a story to my kids, and people liked it so much I published it. And that also happened with Watership Down, now that I think about it. That was another, I'm going to just tell my kids a cool story, and they liked it enough that somebody's like, you should publish that, and they did. That is true. I guess tacos can exist if I want them to. Well, nothing can stop me. Oh, Thomas the Tank Engine? Was that originally a story for kids too? Or is this a different Thomas? Is that the case for Winnie the Pooh? Could have been. I think if we learned anything, it's like, don't doubt the power of storytelling to your kids. Turns out that stuff's good a lot. Yeah, I'm familiar with the old TV show, but I'm not familiar with the Thomas Tank Engine books. Well, as he's gonna try and talk him down, he's like, not advocating for parents here, but please do not eat them. I'm kind of wondering, how many books, like children's stories or novels or whatever, started as like, I'm just telling this to my kids, and then were published. Like, how many fall into that very specific category? Writing children's lit is fascinating. It's way harder than everybody assumes. I'm like, oh yeah, I can write a kid's book. It's like, no, you can't. I don't know about Goosebumps. Goosebumps kind of feels like it was intended to be published from the beginning. I'm glad it exists because there does need to be more horror for kids. Like, I feel like the 90s was a time of a lot more, horror for kids. And then they kind of stopped doing that. And the internet has had to take up the slack in that front because, legit publishers don't want to do it. And I think I have thoughts about that, actually. I think that's kind of a problem. Yeah, I kind of wish I had done Animorphs when I was a kid, but I was a Redwall kid. Yep, it's true. Honestly, what makes writing children's books difficult is that you not only do you have to write a good story, but you have to keep in mind, okay, what vocabulary and sentence structure can I do depending on the level of reader, You can't just write for an adult. You have to write in a way that's like, okay, this makes sense for kids, while also like being like at least a little bit challenging for them so they can learn from it. And that is harder than you would think. I think once you get to like teens, it's not so bad, but if you're like anywhere under 12, and the lower you go on that scale, the more you really got to think about not just what you're writing, but how you're writing it. Not the easiest. And even then, some stuff like, being, intended for story for kids is not even what I would call a kid's book. Like, again, The Hobbit, Watership Down, those are stories told to kids, but they are definitely not like typical kids literature. They're they're full of scary things and death and whatever, even though, again, kids are cool with that. And they should be exposed to that. And that's probably my biggest critique with kids animation these days. And this is a problem across multiple studios. This is not just a one studio problem. But a lot of places nowadays are absolutely not willing to put in like material that might scare kids or upset them in any way. And I don't think that's actually good. I think you need to scare and upset kids. Yeah. This is a kid's show? Yes. Actually, kids deserve to be like made upset and frightened and made sad, because that's going to happen in real life anyway. So a good place to train for like how to feel about that is with a movie or a TV show or a book. Train your emotions so that, when you reach the real world, you will not be absolutely devastated when things inevitably go wrong. Oh, ads. Okay, we'll wait. Poor unfortunate souls in pain, in need. Alright, as soon as I finish this drawing with Asriel, we are going to take a stretch break. So I'm going to do black here. The Last Unicorn. Those are ones I never did see Return to Oz, but I didn't see, I think I saw The Last Unicorn much later in life. I'm sure I saw weird things when I was a kid, though. The Wheelers. I have seen pictures of stuff in Return to Oz that's spooky. Anyways, let kids be afraid and upset in movies and TV. 2026, I don't know. We're almost at the end of this year anyway. Okay. It's time. I think that's a different Wheeler. Just as scary, though. Man, everybody makes fun of like, oh, Captain Planet, blah, 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 it's so cheesy. I'm like, you know what? We actually need that lesson, apparently, because, we have to live with real-life Captain Planet villains now. From Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, exactly. We have Loot and Plunder and, gosh, what were the other villains' names? Sure, there's like a, Smogs be good or something like that. I don't know. Oh yeah, Trimmers. That is a classic. And I think we have like the original Trimmers on VHS, but I don't know if we ever did anything with like the sequels. No, not the game. Oh yeah, there was an evil Captain Pollution. Yeah, I thought that was only a game character. Like, isn't that from... Or is it the game Duke Nukem? Oh, there was a TV series? When was that out? There was so much practical effects involved in the original Tremors. Did they actually stick with that? Or did they, like, try and CG the worms? Different from the game character. Huh. Weird. Weird. Probably horrible CG. No, the practical effects in Tremors are so cool. It's like, we're gonna build some actual worms. Some big actual worms with their big old tongues that get you, and then they're gonna fall off a cliff with the worms. Given the budget. Gosh darn. Oh yeah, I did have actual Hitler. Ooh. Still a fun series, I guess. Weren't they gonna try and make like a TV series of The Thing? Which I guess would also have to be CG, even though that was all practical effects. But I don't know how you would like properly do a TV series with The Thing without it, you know, if it escapes the Antarctic, because then you're pretty much screwed, because it can like transform into any life. No, this wasn't Swamp Thing. This was The Thing from another world. Basically, the shape-shifting alien that was in the Antarctic. The one with the dog. It's the good boy who was actually a bad boy. Because he was the Thing. Alright, be right back for one more stretch. Yes, that thing. Alrighty, I'm back for more. Yeah, Toriel's feeling pretty resigned. Even from just the previous one, we were like, well, crap. Well, gosh darn it. Asriel's hero's not willing to throw in the towel yet. Oh, we have a doodle request. Alright, let me see if I can't find that on my thing real quick. Let's try, leaf bug fables. Oh, that's, I can't type. I typed big fables. Bug fables. Okay. Like a sorcerer guy. Okay, no post in mind, just default. Here we go! We're getting so many bugs on this page. It's a lot of buggies. No, stop that. Okay. I like the fuzzy antenna. He's such a fox. Bugs are always better when they're fuzzy. Actually, no, bugs are good either way. We love us a bug. In this house, we love and appreciate bugs. Most of them, anyway. Bugs are good for you, says the world. Okay. Do a little thing. Looks like a lot of them is partially hidden behind. Ah, made that a little too small. Partially hidden behind this like scale coat. Oh, and here's, I'll make that a little bit closer. Here, Des, have my bug rock. Get it, bug rock. Okay. Make them a little bit smaller to fit in with everybody. Yeah. Cute. We're filling up the page. It's getting there. Yeah, it's getting there. Cute. Ice Mage. Perfect. Goes right with the holidays. Ice Moth is Frost Moth. No, it's not Frost Moth, obviously. Yep, even the bugs that are hard to love deserve respect for their hard work. Well, you'll see what happens. Susie will get her foods, don't worry. Might just be a few parts. And oh boy, is that going to be a pain in the butt to draw. So many tiny sketch people, they're everywhere. Aww. That is funny looking through. I'm still working on my Frost Moth in Pokemon Go, but it requires 400 candy, like the Volcaron or whatever the Firebug does. Susie, you promised me some food. They're very crunch. Lots of crunchies. Exactly. Don't forget, Chris, you promised me brunch. And also lunch and dinner. Does anybody use dinner anymore? I don't know about that. Probably not. Chris is like, well, now I'm depressed about... wrong color. Now I'm depressed about this thing I was building up to. this is the latest part that I have character roughs for. I still gotta do background roughs for the next part. No, the conses of my quinces. The quinces of my consons. No soup. Is that the no soup for you joke? Am I thinking of something else? He ate a hot dog earlier in the day. I haven't had a hot dog in a while, now that I think about it. Wow. When was the last time I had a hot dog? She's like, I'm over here starving and you're dealing with the quinces of your consons. I don't care. The only way to go. True. And again, Chris is just stopping because Asriel intervened. If Asriel hadn't stepped in, then probably would not have gone well for Toriel and Asgore. Let's see, is there? I don't think this is along these lines. I'm not mad, you're mad. It's okay, Chris has a right to be mad. I've had to deal with a lot of crud for like a year. It's like getting resurrected over and over actually kind of sucks. At least in some ways. That will do that to you, yes. Okay. This page looks done. It's gonna look kind of weird without the text boxes in there, but can't have those. Those have the spoilers. Yeah, I think the Jevil kill might be the worst so far. I'm trying to think if we get to see anything worse. And I don't know. Well, honestly, probably the Susie one was actually the worst, so at least they got that out of the way first and foremost. Play some Heartache for that matter. But in terms of like visceral imagery, I'm not sure if we'll do anything worse than Jevil. I guess it depends on what you're personally bothered by. I'm actually kind of wondering, at least from what I have planned, how many more like actual deaths would be like shown on screen for Chris, so to speak. As there'll be that for the Miss Mizzle one for sure, but nothing for meeting Caddy and Jockington. At least no actual death. Let's see, what else did I have planned to do? Oh yeah, there's plenty of deaths that happen off screen. Can't show everything. I would never get anything done again. It would take too long. Probably not that much happening against like regular enemies, but definitely gonna happen against like bosses or just, you know, stepping into the wrong place at the wrong time kind of deal, not knowing exactly what you're doing. Yeah, probably actually the Miss Mizzle ones might be the kind of the most upsetting. Yeah, bosses where like they get killed 2 or 3 times, like with Queen. It probably happened with any boss or secret boss, like you know, Spamton, King, and stuff like that. And Chapter 4 boss, which I don't think I'm ever going to draw, but which I've decided is pretty much just like the tower. Like, not, I don't know if it'd necessarily be called the Titan, but just like the boss is like the tower and having to climb it would be that world's bound god. Oh, is that the one you don't like more? Yeah, with the acid. And so like, oh, I know that's coming. It's gonna suck. Yeah, at least Jevil was like kind of a surprise. It's the anticipation that'll get you more than anything else. Oh, the getting crushed by inner musculature. Pretty bad. Pretty bad way to go. I don't know if that's better or worse than dying of thirst, though. Dying of thirst in a meat sauna. That sounds pretty miserable, actually. Yeah, at least that one was quicker. I think I need to do their hair back here, too. Okay. The compilation of the many deaths of Chris. I've never played Dead Space, so I don't know what those look like. No, now that I think about it, I think the Miss Missile one will be pretty bad, actually. I think that's one that might be upsetting. Sierra death montage. How do those work? Most of the adventure games I played have been like the LucasArts variety rather than Sierra. Susie does see it as helping if she eats them, but in that case she has to, like, not swallow them, but, like, chew. Because then they'll die right away, as opposed to, like, it taking forever. Like, I'm helping, see? I helped. Give them some cake. Candy cake. Chocolate cake. Oh no. Although, is that technically drowning? If there's blood? I guess they could, I would be ripped apart after drowning. Yeah, from what I hear, like, the Sierra deaths were kind of notoriously unfair. Like, you could do something that's like, okay, this is safe and probably not a problem. And it's like, nope, and then the bed threw you out the window and you died. Too bad, there was actually a goblin hiding in this well, and how dare you take a drink, and now you're gonna be ripped apart by a goblin. The end. You should have known better than to do that, even though we didn't warn you at all. Think of that, one video that H. Bomber Guy did about Halcyon and Dragon Slayer, you know, sequels and stuff like that, and the whole, like, kid getting killed by wheat. Just approaches, like, these weird wheat plants, and they just, like, helicopter him to shreds. And it's like, why did that happen? Why was I killed by wheat? See, at least, like, the weird deaths kind of make sense in a game like Peasant's Quest, where it's like, yeah, you're a peasant and everything's gonna kill you, and, because, you know, you're going after Trogdor, the Burninator, who's gonna get you. Trogdor. I need to get the Trogdor plushie. Burninator in the countryside. Burninating all the people in the thatched roof cottages. You're talking of Homestar Runner. The Boulders and Quiz. What were the Boulders and Quiz? I have not. Again, I've only played Peasant's Quest. I haven't played like King's Quest or any of the mainline Sierra games. And again, have played a lot of like LucasArts games, but the whole thing with LucasArts is they're like overly forgiving instead of overly mean, where like you really can't die, just something goofy happens to you. Not just really, it is a challenge to like design a point and click adventure game like that. I encourage people to try new things. Alright, it has been a long time since I played Trogdor, played Peasant's Quest. It was out a while ago. And Susie is pretty much waiting for Chris's command to be like, can I eat them now? Can I eat them now? Chris, when can I eat them? Probably won't even get to that today since we're still on page 2. But if we don't finish it this week, there's always next week, since I'm pretty sure I will not have anything done with the Miss Mizzle battle in the week I have left, because I've got a lot of work to do just in my job. Blah, blah. Job work. at that wonderful stage where I'm like, okay, in order for me to do this part of the thing, I need these assets. Do we not have these assets? Oh, I can't do it. Ah. Good old pipeline. Exactly, I don't want to wait. I've waited like a year. She has waited a year. She's been very patient. Yeah, I don't think I have to do the design actually for them. Like, I have the scene mapped out in my head. I gotta write it sometime this week at the very least. And I gotta design her. And also the Cuptons for that matter, because Cuptons will also feature. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where I put stuff. What sorcery is this? I think the Cuptons are going to be like little wooden bowls with legs. They're not very threatening. They're just like little insect-y guys. But they do love their perfect water lady. Honestly, the hardest thing is going to be doing her dialogue, because her dialogue is all like wordy and archaic and stuff like that. But I'll figure it out. One way or another. Everyone's universe is like, what's a water cooler? You mean a well? Well, well, well. What do we have here? I wonder how that English etymology ended up with, like, well both meaning, hey, you know, pit where you get water from, and also, like, well is like a part of speech. Oh yeah, don't open the ark. The angels will get you for that. They'll get you. I can't watch much of Raiders of the Lost Ark because I always get freaked out by the, you know, the people's faces melting. Or like the part in you know, The Last Crusade where they find the Grail and the Nazi's like, well, I'll drink from this cup, and then like he grows really old really fast and rots and dies. I think one of my squicks is somebody like aging rapidly. Which means I'm probably never gonna watch you know, the beach where you get old. Oh, I haven't seen 4 at all. Is there a scene where like somebody gets eaten by ants? He chose poorly. He did. He chose very poorly. Choose wisely. Choose AT&T, like the sponsor of the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. Yeah, is there somebody who gets like eaten by ants in that movie or something? Those are some heckin' strong ants to be able to carry off a whole guy. Those are powerful ants. I mean, that would be heckin' scary, but also you gotta hand it to those ants. They're working their little ant butts off. And he's screaming, no. World's strongest ants. Yeah, that would be pretty scary. It's one thing to get eaten by like insects, but it's like a lot of like, I don't know. I'd rather get eaten by like one big insect than by like a lot of small insects at once. Ugh. That's a lot of ants. We're all working together for this guy, man. Surprised they just went for one guy and not multiple guys if they were there. This ant can lift 100 times their body strength, and unfortunately their body strength is like a pound, so you're in trouble, ants. Or trouble, guy with the ants. Ugh. Oh, okay. Can the ants not reach them from high ground, or is it like those ants that like, you know, those jungle ants, they're like, oh, we have to cross this body of water, or we're going to form into a ball of ants and just raft across using our own bodies. Because that's our ant power. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. We are talking about man-eating ants. Different from antenna. Guy fight his ant circle, and the big guy finally gets knocked down. Oh, interesting. So yeah, they were doing that. Ball of ants will get you. No, the ants. Their eusocialness is gonna get us. Man, do not mess with these ants. Chris, don't mess with those ants. They'll get you. Yeah, that's a bullet. I would rather one big thing eat me than like a million tiny things eat me. Susie, eat the ants. She probably could do it. She could eat the ants. Although it would be more difficult for her if she was dealing like with a million tiny things versus like one larger thing. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about Indiana Jones 4. I haven't seen Indiana Jones 4 now. Like, what are you talking about with the scene like somebody gets dragged into an anthill by many man-eating ants? Yeah, that's what she does against Tenna's henchmen, but they're not very threatening. They're like trying to get her, but they're not succeeding. So she's mostly just like, okay, buffet time. No. I do gotta draw the mics at some point. Oh, I need to, okay, when I finish this shot with Chris, we gotta take our stretch break. Yeah, I did not know that scene existed because I have not seen Indiana Jones 4 and the Crystal Skull. And they're also on contract, true. Yeah, no, you're fine. It's just funny that you like, oh, what about Indiana Jones 4? Like, yeah, that's what prompted it. I think I would find that especially scary because I didn't grow up with very scary ants. We had, like, you know, those regular black ants that are not a threat to you unless the threat is to your dog food or something. Good grief, what did I put here? Just making sure I don't have to draw that. I wonder what it is about insects in particular that, like, humans have such a hard time with. Because we are so much larger than insects. They have much more to fear from us than we do of them, and yet we're like, "Ah!" Then again, maybe it in some ways, like, it is when you have like a lot of small somethings that is more frightening to a large thing. I would not spray a red ant dirt hill. I would just leave it and be like, well, that's the ant's home now. It's not for me. Yeah, exactly. It's like elephants and mice. Like, elephants are scared of mice because they can't see what the mice are doing. Oh, right. They're missing the finger on this hand. No, to what I understand, it is actually the case that elephants are scared of mice in so much as they're like, they can't see what mice are doing. They just know, like, oh, something is scrambling around my feet. You know. Which, to be fair, that would freak me out, too. Yes, if you throw an ant off a building, it will live. That's another advantage to being very small, is, because you're less dense. Fall's not gonna kill you so much. Whereas if you threw an elephant off of like a few feet, it's screwed. It's like the mouse I found in my apartment once, and I threw it off the balcony, and it definitely lived. One, I only live like on the second floor. It's not a high balcony, and two, it landed in a bush, so that mouse definitely did not die. It's like, don't be in my house, goodbye! Alright, it is now stretch break time. Ooh, went fast. Chris, yell! Chris, yell the ants! Asriel, there were ants once! Actually, there's just one big ant. He was also a magic mirror. It was very bad. Ratio of volume to surface area. Okay. Science, science, science. I have not taken a science class in many a year. I have forgotten much of my science. Although I guess a lot of that's just physics more than anything else. If we're talking like surface area and volume, etc. I guess that's probably why you would have to have a blue whale would have to be an ocean animal, because I guess that's so much denseness that they just couldn't move at all if they were a land animal. Like, yeah, you could do it with dinosaurs, but I think even the biggest dinosaurs were not as big as the blue whale. It's like, why don't you stop complaining about the ants and help us, Birdly? Actually, if there was a enemy they had to face in Eldritchrune that was a lot of little guys that are really upsetting and annoying, it probably would be the mice. M-A-I-E-C. Little mouses. And that would have upset Noel. They're small. I can't see what they're doing. My interests. Perhaps they should count themselves lucky. They only had to deal with one big ant instead of many tiny ants. What's worse, one giant antenna or 10 million tiny antennas? Also, I will say I'm a little sad that Toby didn't go with him being a big ant instead of him just being, a Tumblr sexy man. But, oh well. I thought the original ant idea was different and cute, but alas alack. Alrighty, I will be right back with one more stretch and orange juice and stuff. Alrighty, I am back with orangey juice and stuff. And I guess that is true. He made him a more advanced sprite, which did take me by surprise. Yeah, Finale is such a good song. I mean, heck, what isn't a good Toby Fox song? Ugh. But it feels very like powerful and appropriate for that moment. And look, I remembered that Chris doesn't have a finger on that hand. Oh, okay, I don't know that one. I assume that's either like just a random lost song or one of many Homestuck songs. Oh, okay. Maybe let's not do that, Toby. I'm assuming he did not learn Mandarin before before doing that. If so, that would be quite impressive, but I'm assuming that's not the case. Yeah, Area Zero is very good. All the Scarlet and Violet music is really good, honestly. Yeah, I like the songs he's done for Off so far. It was for a college class. What was this college class asking for? I'm wondering what was this class doing? More Chris screaming, crying, throwing up. Ah! Then again, I can't complain. I've done some questionable stuff for college classes that won't get into right now, so I think everybody has done that at some point. Oh, yeah, that part of Final Fantasy X. Oh, oof, oof, oof. Okay, well, if it's for a class in Mandarin, then that makes sense. At least that shows you're definitely trying. Like, if it's for learning the language, sure. Yeah, I'm excited for the eventual Andrew Blewett video on Final Fantasy X, because that was the first Final Fantasy I played all the way through. Chris having a breakdown again. Alright, we're on to page 3. It's like, by the way, Asriel, I had horrible things happen to me for like a year straight. Hey, they haven't really had anybody to talk to about that much. Yeah, you can talk to, you know, the Beast and Ralsei about it, but they're not gonna get it because they're like, oh, well, it's fine. You can just be brought back. It's fine. At least they got a birthday cake. Gotta have some happy moments in there. Yeah, they're a little hug sensitive right now. Everybody betray me. I'm fed up with this world. No, they're not telling me this out. No pie. It feels bad that their favorite food used against them. Betrayal pie. Pie is great. It's the last time Chris had pie, they were drugged with it and then sacrificed in a cult ritual. Now there's bad memories associated with favorite food. No, I think he mostly had, like, cakes and stuff like that. He did have, like, pastries and things. I don't know if he had pie. But he did make them cake for birthday. I'm pretty sure if he had made Chris pie, Chris would have been like I don't think I want any. I think by that point he would have known pie is no good. As Chris would have mentioned, they drugged me with the pie. Again, Chris's favorite food. Oh, when they first met, yeah. I got Susie still back here. Susie, you take up so much space. That's fine. She's supposed to. She's large. She's the largest of the beasts. Yeah, MK is the smallest. He's like, yes, I know you're having a breakdown, but can we have a snack breakdown? Yeah, I'm not sure if Susie is the largest Eldritch Priest of all time, but she is the largest in the party. He's big girl. And second is probably either Noelle or Birdly tied. The thing that makes Birdly pretty big is the wingspan. Well, Noelle is tall. And then Caddy and Jockington are the next biggest, and then MK is the smallest. I just only need to do a meeting Caddy and Jockington part. I was really expecting that we would get to see them in the Dark World in Chapter 4, but now I'm more guessing that's going to be a Chapter 5 thing if it happens. If it doesn't happen in Chapter 5, then I don't know. I'm like, there's clearly stuff going on with the Kattenheimers, and we got to resolve whatever's going on between Caddy and Susie. Something has to happen with that. Okay. All these backgrounds here, and then most of them are blocked by Susie's big old self anyway. Oh yeah, even when I think we have Caddy and Jefferson in the Dark World, I don't think they're going to be party members. I think they might appear as like antagonists, if anything, but I don't think they will be joining the party. I think that might be exclusively a Noelle thing. She might be being overdramatic. I don't know. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. Oh, we got a redeem. Stella from Hell of a Boss, pirate version. Let me see if I can find that. Where's a pirate version? Oh, sent ref. Let me see. Let me see. Ah. Looks like a Captain Amelia thing. Yeah, do Black Mage Caddy. That could be fun. Yeah, I hate when I'm trying to grab the thing and it goes across the wrong way. Ah, come here. Okay. Let's see here. I will say this is kind of less pirate, more Commodore Norrington, I think, but we'll make do with it. I got that Bibsy Pop style there. You know, top hat. I'm definitely gonna have to shrink this one down. She's tall and lanky. No bows on there. That's not Stella, that's her brother. Okay, I don't know the character. Oh, the big poofy dress. I can start over. I can do it again. Okay, I was confusing what I saw. I was confusing what I saw in the Google search with what I'm seeing here. Okay. Oh, she got big eyelashes. Okay, that's how we do this. Make sure I get this right. They are both burbs, I guess. Sorry, I got confusion. Okay. Probably a little bit off in terms of a model here. I've not drawn this character at all before. Woo! Oh. Dang. Yeah, I've not seen either of these, so I am not familiar. Let's just do Fancy Burb. I can do the I guess I got confused because I would not consider that outfit a pirate. Like, I don't think this is a typical pirate outfit. This is more a, I don't know, Regency era thing. The merch calls it Pirate AU. Okay, I mean I can kind of see it, but these are not pirate outfits. These are more I guess these are pirate outfits for the bad guys. This is like East India Trading Company, the pirate section of the Pirate AU. I guess if you're in a pirate AU, the British aristocracy is the bad guys, so. Yeah, aristocracy bad guy when you're a pirate. Do what you want because a pirate is free until Britain says otherwise. Yar har fiddly dee. Okay, that explains my confusion. Alright, this is probably quite off model. I have not drawn this character before. Okay, oh my goodness, another doodle crest. Let's make this one a little smaller. We're gonna pull you down a little bit so you're appropriate size. Okay, well, thank you for bearing with me as I was confused. I'm like, wait, where are the pirates here? These were not the pirates. Okay, let's see. Here Susie's like, where's my human? It is a fun design, that is for sure. Oh, I realized I did this a bit too large. 2 sketches. No. Too much. It could happen again. Like she'll never find me up here. The problem is because of like the size change between them. It's all, if I start drawing Susie a certain size, then Chris has to be so much smaller. Chris has learned from Lancer, true. Yeah, we'll stick you up to the corner here. Chris like, wait, I've got it. If I hide in her hair, she won't find me. Okay. There we go. Well, thank you. Again, we're filling this out. We're getting close. Actually, I'm going to move this guy down here so he's got a little bit more space. There we go. We're almost done with the whole thing. We're getting close. Alright, what was I doing? I was working on this. Well, Susie's like, when am I gonna get to eat the folks? When are they gonna get to the fireworks factory? Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine doing that. I'll watch it sometime in the future. I don't know when, probably with friends. But, if you do want to do a doodle request, just tell me which character. I don't mind it. I mean, probably the only characters I will say no to is, like, Harry Potter. I don't think I could bear to, have myself have fun doing that, but, like, Has-Been's fine. Has-Been's fine, Homestuck's fine, all that stuff. Yeah, I think I just did one. Spellodramas, no. Maybe I should use the smaller brush for these. This is still my rough brush. It starts losing some edge at this size. Plus, I'm like just, via cultural osmosis kind of vaguely aware that, a bunch of different Has-Been characters exist, even if I don't know their context, so. Very likely. I'll just be like, okay, just draw this character. Ugh, yeah. I think that's the case with, like, my brother and his husband. Because a lot of people are just not aware of, like, what's going on, like, how JKR has just become, like, the worst and is using her money to do horrible things. I've tried to explain to my parents a little bit, and they're like, very casual fans, but I think I'd have, if, like, my brother, like, you want to go to Harry Potter World? I would have to, like, explain, no, you cannot make me. By the way, you guys, please stop giving her money. Please give it to anyone else. This is hurting you because you are gay, please. Was there ever a time you drew on paper and transferred your art by scanning the computer? Yes, there was a time I did that a lot. Probably the first major webcomic I did, Lunargyros, that was all drawn on paper and then scanned. So yes, that is what I used to do quite a bit. Then eventually I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I find I'm faster just drawing digitally. But there was a good chunk of time where I did it on paper first. Must have been a headache. It was a little time consuming, but it wasn't that bad. I had a flow that worked for me, so. And I would do the shading in the computer, but I felt more comfortable doing the line art on paper, so that's what I did. I got a lot of pages of it done on paper. I was doing that as soon as, like, 2007, 2008. I probably got to stop soon. As soon as we finish Susie here for my stretch break. Yeah, the sucky thing is, like, I did like the series. I was into it when I was younger. My whole family was. Now, I wasn't a huge mega fan, but, like, I did some fan art and stuff for it back in the day. And now, like, I can't bear to look at it anymore. It's completely ruined. It is well past the point of, like, this is no longer fun. This is, like, actively making me upset. Like, I can't engage with it at all. No, I read the books when they were coming out. I had some British copies, because sometimes we were in Europe when they were coming out, and, like, I'm pretty sure, like, Order of the Phoenix, I got the British copy of rather than the American copy. But no. can't deal with it. It's been ruined. It's been ruined for me beyond repair. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, yeah, this was something that was, I really enjoyed when I was younger. Can't do that anymore. No more engagement. Especially, yeah, getting into more, even without, Rowling just being the worst, just from a critical viewpoint. It's like, okay, this is not the best series. I think the reason why it was so successful because it was marketable. But in terms of like a good, young wizard story, yeah, Earthsea is better. I used to read to my brothers all the time when I was younger. Or at least one of my brothers. I really like doing that. There's something so nice about reading aloud to somebody else. Maybe that's why I like streaming. Kind of like that. What I used to read to my younger brother was Redwall. That was one of the... speaking of Redwall, back to Talks of Mice, I read like the first few Redwall books to my brother aloud, and that was really cool. I hope so too. Wizard of Earthsea is very good. I did read the whole Wizard of Earthsea series. I think the only one I might not have gotten to yet was the Tales of Earthsea, like the short story collection. But I otherwise did do the 4 main books. And I can check out the last Tales from Earthsea one whenever I want. Although I was looking at some of Ursula K. Le Guin's other stories, like I read The Left Hand of Darkness, and I read The Dispossessed, which were both very good. Definitely The Dispossessed is very politically charged. It's like sci-fi, but also it's like, what if all the socialists went to Socialist Planet? How would they do on Socialist Planet? And it was a good book. What if there were 2 Earths and one of them was Capitalism Earth and one of them was Socialist Earth? How would they be different? Hoping they Ursula K. lock in. True. Lord of the Rings, also a very good thing to get into. Like, the problems I think with fantasy as a whole is that everybody just wants to keep copying what Lord of the Rings did and what J.R.R. Tolkien did. But like, the reason they did that is because what he did was extremely skilled and good. Now, of course, he was subject to the racist biases of his day, as most people are. Again, I'm right now my current library book is Moby Dick. Good grief, it's long. I'm gonna have to check it out twice because I can't get through it. But Moby Dick is interesting in that, like, on the one hand, like, it's kind of an anti-racist book because he talks a lot about, like, oh, here's how cool, the non-whites are. On the other hand, it is such a racist book because it is, like, so steeped in, like, the racist thoughts of, like, the 19th century. Like, he has a whole thing on, like, yeah, Queequeg is the coolest because his skull is the right shape. And I'm like, oh, the phrenology. So, it's an interesting dichotomy there. A book that is both anti-racist and racist, depending on the time period and, situation it was written in. No, literally, they hit me with the phrenology. I'm like, Herman, please. You were doing so well. But again, this was, 19th century. Yeah, that's also a lot of 60s writers. No, hop in. A lot of the Rings are badass. Alright, I'll be right back for one more stretch and all that. Alrighty, I'm back. I'm back from the stretch. Oh yeah, the Buffalo episode, that was season 1. It gets really tricky when you try and do race allegories in cartoons sometimes. That is a section where it's easy to mess up. You can go in with the best intentions and still stumble. I think they were slightly more successful with later seasons where it's like, okay, we have the friendship school and, all kinds of creatures are, allowed to, learn here. We're not going to discriminate against that, while the, the racist headmasters are like, no, only ponies can learn friendship at the friendship school. Yeah, the main problem with racism allegories is that, especially in kid cartoons, they can't accurately identify what racism really is, and that's that racism is not rational. Racism is not based off of, oh, those people did a bad thing to us and now we hate them. Like, that is not what racism is. Racism is just like, it's a very emotional reaction. It is blind hate, or it is usually somebody profiteering off of it. I'll tell you, okay, you know what's a really good racism allegory? You know what's a racism allegory that actually really works? The Sneetches. The Sneetches is a good racism allegory because, one, it recognizes the fact that racism is completely emotional and irrational. There's no good reason for it. The only difference between the Sneetches is who has stars. And then, 2, it recognizes the fact that somebody is, like, hyping up the racism for profit. The Sneetches is a Dr. Seuss short story. Okay, I said racism allegory. The Sneetches. The Sneetches are basically these, like, bird-like little creatures, Dr. Seuss, and they live on the beaches. That's why they're Sneetches. And some Sneetches have bellies on their stomach and some don't. And the story starts out that the Sneetches that do not have... Yeah, have you read his books? And the Sneetches that do not have stars on their bellies are, they're bigoted against. They're not allowed to do cool things on the beach with the star Sneetches. And then, I forget who it was, but basically this outsider guy comes in and is like, hey, Sneetches without stars on your bellies, I'm going to give you... Let you put in a machine that will put stars on your belly so that, you can fit in with the rest of the Sneetches. And so they do that and, pay money to get some stars on them. And then, of course, the Sneetches that see this are like, well, how can we tell people apart now? That's not fair. The whole point is that, not that, oh, these people with no stars were bad. It's that we wanted to feel special and different from these other ones, and now we can't tell them apart. So then the guy then sells them, well, hey, here's a machine to remove your stars so everybody will know that you're the real good Sneetches. And then they basically start swapping stars back and forth until nobody can tell who was originally a Starbelly Sneetch and who was not. And basically the guy runs off with all their money. Luckily they learn from the lesson they learned is that, hey, racism is bad. There was no point in us doing this, but that was a proper racism allegory, because again, it shows that one, it's irrational, it doesn't make sense, it's about people holding power over others, and two, somebody is profiting off of it. Oh, Dr. Seuss was extremely political. He was a very political author. Before he was doing kids books, he was doing anti-Nazi propaganda. He did a lot of like political cartoons, and he, back during World War II days, he was highly critical of racist and fascist stuff, and that was what he did in his cartoons. So he probably suffered from some, racism of the time, but he was quite anti-fascist. Excuse me. Nope, just realized I kind of drew that wrong. But no, read the Sneetches. The one kids book that I think successfully did a racism allegory. Like, there's even a lot of other stuff in there, like Yertle the Turtle, about the turtle that tries to stack a bunch of other turtles up tall so he can be high. Absolutely a fascism critique. Or just authoritarianism. Butter Battle book, Cold War critique. Oh yeah, seriously, the Sneetches is a better racism allegory than Detroit Become Human. Absolutely it is. Like, by a lot. Detroit Become Human, not a good racism allegory. Yeah, probably even Zootopia. Again, it's a tough thing because most things do not realize, they're not willing to admit the fact that racism is not rational. It is irrational. It can change on a dime, and somebody is profiting off of it. Because once you realize those, you're like, wait, this sucks ass. Why do we have to keep putting up with this generation after generation? And yet it's like so entrenched in your thinking, it's like impossible to escape because you've grown up with it all your life. Certainly I've had to keep unlearning it over and over, and I will be doing that till the day I die. And that's just the reality of it. So thank you, Dr. Seuss, for actually doing it right. Heck, the Lorax, probably a lot more accurate, commentary on pollution and climate change than we are getting these days. Certainly not from the movie. Which probably the best thing that movie birthed was the Onceler fandom. Not gonna lie. Yeah, a lot of fantasy sticks with, strictly European stuff. There are some writers out there that do, non-white fantasy. I think N.K. Jemison's one of them. And I read some of her books. I actually should try and finish them, because I think I started like 2 different series. And didn't quite finish the last books in those. So many books to read, so little time. Yeah, that's true. It's like, well, we know all the focus is here on Fantasy Europe, but there's also not Fantasy Middle East and Fantasy Asia somewhere else. In which, the cultures there are all monolithic. Not like our beautiful European culture that's so varied. I guess we're also starting to get I don't know much about this because I've seen this around my Tumblr dashboard and I haven't looked into it much, but it seems like there's a lot more prominence now with Chinese fantasy dramas, like Scumville and stuff like that. I know nothing about that, but I do know that that is not something I would have seen like 5 or 10 years ago. Now it's quite popular. So it's changing in its own ways. One bit at a time. Ask for advice? Sure. I'll do my best. Oh, or not. Writing is hard. Art is hard. It's all hard. But still worthwhile. And so it's like, please, we're still arguing. It's page 3. Ugh. I like my orange juice. The problem is sometimes it makes me thirstier after drinking it. Drinking juice should not make you thirstier, but it does. Why? Why for? Alright, welcome back. Welcome back to Asriel, still trying to talk Chris down out of this sadness. Meanwhile, parents are like, we have nothing to add. Please don't notice we're here. How does one explore prejudice in a sci-fi series with aliens who have powers and stuff? Like what kind of powers, and what do you mean by prejudice? Like humans being prejudiced against aliens that have powers? Do they have like telekinetic powers? Like what are their powers? Like humans who are legit oppressed, aliens that have magic and stuff. Well, if humans are legit oppressed, then there's not so much prejudice going on there as, like, you know, actual complaints. A bit too much into X-Men racism. Well, I think the least the thing that X-Men gets right about racism is that racism is irrational, but that can also be born out of fear. Fear is not often rational. Fears can be irrational. Because it's giving a rational reason to hate them. Well, again, that is a situation wherein I don't think it would be racism then. I think what you might be dealing with then is colonialism. Like if these are aliens that are coming in and they have special powers and they're using those powers to, like, say, oppress and enslave humanity. That's less a racism thing and more of a colonialism thing, and that the humans are, you know, justifiably angry at a colonial power. that they are at a disadvantage with. That's what happened. My stream died. Yeah. Well, Asriel is trying to convince Chris, and he's doing stuff. Yeah, that's also possible. Yeah, so it does kind of depend on like how are you dealing with your story in terms of that sort of thing. Because it sounds like, okay, if you're in a if your situation is that these aliens have, you know, power over humans and are using that to subjugate humans, then what you're dealing with is not a racism story. You're dealing with a colonialism story. And that the humans are justifiably mad that they're being colonized. But there are always subtleties there. Chris Angie. So are you doing more kind of like a Starship Troopers thing where it was humans colonizing somewhere else and then the aliens that have their own powers are like defending their world or something like that? Always good to think about. What was it Ursula K. Le Guin said about sci-fi, and that sci-fi is not predictive. It's like it's not telling the future. What sci-fi is doing is responding to our present in a fantastical way. It always has something to say about the present more than it does about the future. More in a sense of like, if we continue on the path we are now, this is how things might look. Chris is justifiably angry, yeah. Yeah, that's why I really wish that, I hope that Deltarune delves a bit more into, like, the differences between monster and human society, because we've gotten, like, little hints of it, but not much. I really want them to go into that. Because I feel like that's going to factor into, like, part of what's, you know, going on with Chris's character. And again, if Susie is half human, that would be a very interesting commentary on, you know, how is, you know, racism dealt with in this world. I really like the fact that in Undertale, the 10th anniversary, we had this thing with Garrison where he was basically like, yeah, it was not actually that clear cut. We had people that, you know, we had humans that were fighting for us. We had our real relationships torn apart. Because that feels like a much more natural and also interesting, you know, situation than just, yeah, all humanity was united against us and they drove us underground. The idea that the other side sacrificed a lot to get us down here, that otherwise, like, monsters might have suffered a worse fate, and that this was actually a compromise to help protect them. I think that's very interesting. Yeah, that is another reason why, again, I'm interested in a half-human Susie possibility, because I think that would be really interesting to explore. And yeah, in Undertale, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, humans and monsters were in marriages. Things were not so clear-cut as we think. I think that's interesting. I think that opens up a lot of possibilities. Thank you, Garrison, for being the coolest. I need to rewatch the 10th anniversary stream. That was just a lot of good stuff. Yeah, we keep getting these hints that, like, okay, there is, we don't have the outright war or anything going on between monsters and humans in Deltarune. But there seems to be, like, some degree of, like, segregation. Yeah, I want it to be more than set dressing. I want this to be something that, this is important to Chris's character and Susie's character and other people's characters. Yeah, it could very well be a self-inflicted small-town segregation. That's certainly possible. Yeah, I think it's interesting that the cast was going to be humans, and then, like, no, we're going to keep them as monsters. But at the same time, I feel, like, even though it's a side thing for now, I feel like this has to be something that's addressed in some form. Because a big part of what is driving Chris's angst and the fact that they are on this self-destructive spiral is that they're human, that they're the only human in a town full of monsters. They're not just the weird kid or, the quiet kid and whatever. They are, like, physically different from everybody else there. And that they do not like this fact. They do not like the fact that they are human. This seems like this is a burden for them. This needs to be addressed, and for Chris to, like, be pulled out of that situation. Yeah, Snowy's jokes about humans. Why are you racist against humans, Snowy, you jerk? Like Chris feels like such a loner in the town, but at the same time, like, most of the town doesn't treat them with, like, with anything but kindness. Some people are jerks, like, yeah, Snowy's racist, and Bunny, who knows what's going on with Bunny Kid and stuff like that. But even then, it's mostly like people seem to get along with Chris fine. Yeah. It could be a little of both. It certainly could be a little of both. A little bit of nature, a little bit of nurture. So certainly, I think that Toriel was really struggling to know how to raise a human. She was trying, and I think she's really worried that she's failed. Yeah. And even with Chris, it seems less of a race thing and more of a gender thing. Like, I feel like we get stronger hints of, like, Chris's, isolation from society as, as a thing with their gender. The whole you can wear whatever you want sort of thing. Welcome back. And honestly, I another reason why I kind of want Susie to do the half-human thing, because I'm like, okay, if that's not the case, if she's just a monster and she's just grown up with, like, humans her whole life, then Chris is right to not want to be a human, because humans are friggin' assholes. How is everybody, both, kid and adult, been treating Susie so bad her entire life? Why is this happening? I don't think it's just because of her behavior, because I certainly don't think she was being a horrible bully at, age 5, wearing ribbons and whatever. Yeah, I think Toriel has had to accept some of it, but I definitely think that she is worried. She is trying. I think she's just kind of like, I've run out of things to try. I don't know what else to do. So that's why she's just so thrilled that, oh my goodness, yay, Chris is making a friend. Oh my goodness, yay, Chris is making a friend with, you know, that other kid, that girl who was crying and I said would make friends. Oh my goodness, yay. Like, that's just, I'm sure she's over the moon about that. Susie can do it all. I just want that to be addressed in some way. Please. Please. You know, I think that it has to be addressed in some way. I say it again, I think the fact that Chris is human is driving some of their self-destructive behavior, and we have to put a stop to that. I think Chris is definitely carrying a lot of guilt for stuff that's happened. I think that they have felt responsible for whatever happened, obviously, between Des and the families. Wait, is what a critique? Sorry, I missed what was a critique. Yeah, cue Carol Holiday coming in to save them, yeah. Like critiquing Eldritchrune possible. Sure. I mean, we can say, why is this question not answered yet? And then the answer might be because it will be answered later. And then we'll be like, oh, hooray, we've gotten an answer. But I think it's fine to ask, like, I hope this gets answered. I hope this gets addressed, because I think it should be. There is the possibility that it might not be. That is, you know, we have a lot going on. Might not get to it, but I think if it doesn't get addressed at all, I'd be kind of like, well, that's a little weak. That's a missed opportunity. But we won't know until it happens or doesn't happen. Either one. Playing the floor is lava butt with world building. That's at least how he is with timelines. Yeah. That's just gonna happen. I think it'd be a little silly to be like, no, you can't say anything bad about it until we all know it's out. Because we have things that are like, I hope this gets addressed. It might get addressed or it might not. Yeah, which is why I hope that, you know, I hope it gets addressed in the future. I think Susie being half human would be a good way to address a lot of that very quickly. That'll give us a better idea of, you know, how the rest of the world is functioning around these ideas. But it may or may not be addressed. I hope that it is, because I feel like it should be. Yep. Everything you love has flaws. That's the truth. Especially art. Yeah, I find it interesting. Like, I thought that was going to be a late game thing where, you know, Susie didn't find out about the nature of the Dark Worlds until late, and then immediately for Chapter 3, he's like, nope, this is how the Dark Worlds work. Just immediately, that was a fascinating way to start the chapter. Yeah, that's what makes something lovable, is in fact its imperfections. That gives you opportunity to do different things. And to study what you do and don't like about something. Always good. Or else I didn't want to beat around the bush anymore. Alright, after this I'm going to take my stretch break. I don't know, is there a sentiment going around that you can't critique Eldritchrune at all? I mean, maybe I've missed it, but I don't think that's the case. Again, this is true of any piece of art. You cannot possibly think of everything as a creator. Well, general consensus is a little bit different than, you know, never happening. At the very least, I'm excited to see where it goes. I think even Toby is, yeah, like Twitter. Ugh, can't win them all. At the very least, I think Toby is actually concerned about, you know, I can't make everyone happy with his whole thing of, you know, this will be a game for a certain kind of people. I hope you're that kind of person, kind of thing. I think even he recognizes this is, you know, we might end up with something that some people just don't like how it goes. You can't help that. All you can do is the story that you have to tell. No one can do it but you. And I am hoping I am the kind of person that likes how it ends. I think that will be the case. I've liked where it's been going. With the, you know, new chapters, I have only gotten happier and more excited. My enthusiasm has not been diminished by new material, which is a good sign. Yeah, like, I want Half Human Susie to happen now for a number of reasons, but, like, if it doesn't happen, then I'm like, I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to be like, no, you ruined it. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I hate Susie now. Like, I would love the Susie, no matter what. You can't stop me from doing that. Oh, I've seen lots of talk about shipping before. That's inevitable. But Deltarune definitely plays with it a lot. But yeah, if it doesn't happen, then oh well, I was wrong. That is fine. I will love Susie either way. That will not diminish my interest in the game at all. And if it does happen, then I will scream and throw up on camera probably. Exactly. Your options are either, oh, this will still be good, or my options will be like, oh, I'll scream and throw up. I have trust either way. I have not been let down yet. At least, like, I have not been let down in the sense of, like, oh, this is ruined. I mean, there at most been, like, mild disappointments, like, oh, that's too bad. Not enough for me to diminish my enjoyment. I do hope Des comes back. I definitely think Des being restored could go either way. It could either be, yes, we restored her, or it could be a Flowey situation where she can't be restored. Right now I'm 50-50 split. Both of those seem possible to me. I hope she can be restored, because I think there's a lot of possibility with that, but it could be either. Alright, I will be right back for one more stretch, and etc. And I return. I'm back for one last session. Yeah. Oh, that would freak the heck out of Noelle. Oh my goodness, yeah. Mm-hmm. There's so many possibilities. Yeah, I don't know if it's all of Dessa's mind at play there, but at least something. Something involved in there. Yeah, I do like the idea that what this was, you know, in terms of like how this is relates to death. It's like a fear from death. The fear of death, the fear of fate, fear of inevitability, stuff like that, specifically coming from death. It would be nice to have some of her still in there. I think Chris might be playing a part of that in their own way, but something of death as well. Yeah, there's something of death still there. Not all of her. There is something missing, but there is something there. We gotta find what's missing. Question is, how did this happen? How did this go missing? Oh, you can do a doodle request now. Sure. Go for it. If you have the doodle request, now's the time. I've got only half an hour left of the work. We just gotta give the night the weed, then she'll remember. Yeah, symbolizing fear. I feel like there's elements of fear going on there with the night. I just think like the fear of inevitability is an interesting way of tackling the night. Quest the doodle of ZZ. Alright, let me see if I can find that character. It has been hotel. ZZ has been hotel. Oh my goodness. It's a sparkle dog. That is a heck of a sparkle dog. Look at that. Or sparkle dino, I guess. Sparkle raptor? That counts as a sparkle dog. Even got the scene hair going on. Ah. Okay, I guess it is a sparkle raptor. Looks like a sparkle raptor. Man, you can tell I'm not adept at drawing has-been characters. Very particular style. Then again, if I was making to make my own cartoon, it'd be cool to make a sparkle raptor. Okay. I'm sure my proportions are horribly off. Oh well. It's what happens with new characters. It's like, dang, that color scheme. Mm. Ooh, new blorbo. Scene dino. Yeah. I wish I could make like a Sparkle Dog game. Sparkle Critter. Like usually Sparkle Dogs, but you can also do like Sparkle Horses, Sparkle Raptors, Sparkle Tigers, all that goodness. Good grief, I can only imagine how difficult this character was to animate. Oh, ooh, so many stripes. Puppy petters. Well, thank you for the request. Well, we have added it to the page. Probably only like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 more requests and we'll be done with the page. We're getting there. We're getting there. Now I'm going to be very curious whenever I watch Has-Been when we get to the Sparkle Raptor. No, she looks like a raptor. She's got the raptor claw and the feather tail. At least from the reference I just pulled up, I'm like, oh, raptor. Everybody loves a big raptor claw. Scene dino. Everybody's crying. Getting the big snot crying when you cry a lot. Ugh. Also, her jawline should be thicker than that. And they're like, you really want to eat these guys? Her hair should not be that long either. Susie's like, yeah, they look delicious. To be fair, they probably are. Got to page 4 out of 7, so about halfway. Not bad. We'll see how far we get with page 4. Well, one thing I do wish we could see is, you know, how Toby said that originally all the Light World characters were going to be humans and then there would be monsters in the Dark World. I want to see what his human designs would have been for them. Even though my guess is that he never actually drew those. Because it seemed like the whole thing with, oh, everybody in Hometown was going to be human, that was dropped pretty early on. But if he has any of his weird little sketches of, you know, human Toriel and Undyne and all that, I want to see it. Show me it. Toby, show me your weird little drawings, please. Someday we're actually going to get that entire, like, doodle page for, you know, even the 3 main here. It turns out, oh no, I was actually hiding this part. Oh, I was hiding this part of the page too. I was actually also hiding this. Like, all these various things. We're not going to get the full concept art page until, like, the very end. Then we'll finally know. Chrono Trigger Lightwork sprites? Man, maybe, I think I need a... If I can get that on Steam, I might need to add Chrono Trigger to my 2 playlist for Friend Powered Friday Nights. Because I have not played Chrono Trigger, and apparently I really need to play Chrono Trigger. Okay. I'm still not sure what I should do next after off. I was kind of thinking maybe we could delve into a series of fan games, because I keep putting those off. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should finally, you know, do Outer Tail and TS Underswap and Delta Traveler, all those ones. In the 6th anniversary stream, they did show unused Susie sprites. That's true. Oh, so they look kind of more realistic and less fantasy-ish, cartoony. I gotta look those up. That would be interesting. I know they did also mention that they were originally considering, like, you know, while the light world was a lot kind of more dull and monotonous, kind of almost more grayscale, the dark world would be, you know, have all these bright, flashy colors. Which it already does. More shading, thinner, a bit more serious. Interesting. I think I played, like, the start of the original Paper Mario. I don't know if it was Super Paper Mario, but I started to play a Paper Mario a long time ago. Like on the Wii or something. Although I think I was going to play a Mario game. I want to play, like, Mario RPG. Which I guess, like, Paper Mario is an Mario RPG, but, like, the original one. With Yokoshima Maru. I haven't even played it and I still know Beware the Forest Mushrooms. Everything like that. There's too many things to play. Not enough time. But yeah, Chrono Trigger I think is one of those I need to do, and still all the other ones I said I need to do. I have, like, Slay the Spire for free. I need to try it at some point. Ugh. Oh yeah, Legend of Mana. I'm always curious about the games that, you know, Toby mentions inspiration, like Brandish. What was that one he got music stuff from? Secret of Mana or something like that? I don't know. The one with the guy, he has a dog and he's time traveling. Yeah, maybe a Secret of Mana. Live Alive? What kind of game is Live Alive? Is that another RPG or is it something else? Secret of Evermore, that was it. Not the Taylor Swift album, nor the failed theme park. Different. Susie's like, you've been talking for so long! I want a snack! She's basically like one of those dogs, you know, when you're like, you put a treat on their head or on their nose and just waiting for you to say yes, and they're just lines of drool lining down their face because they're just like waiting and waiting for you to say get it. Live Alive is an anthology RPG where you play a bunch of small RPGs. Interesting, huh? Interesting. Huh. But I'd also like to try some of this, like, contemporary stuff that Toby has talked about. Like, I want to try Soul of Sovereignty. Even though I think it's kind of probably a more adult game, but that's the one by Gigi, and Gigi's been helping with some of the art on Eldritchrune. I think it'd be kind of cool to like play something by you know some of the other artists that are on the team. So I'd kind of like to try Soul of Sovereignty, although I think that's a bit more of an adult game, from my understanding. It's might require some content warnings, but that would probably be short at least. That's a visual novel, I think. So yeah, I kind of want to try that. Again, I have Slay the Spire that I need to try at some point. I'm wondering if I should ever dip my toe into horror games that have been brought up. My scaredy toe. I need to eat someone. I'm getting hangry. She spent her whole life being hangry. Yeah, there's still stuff I mentioned a while ago I never got to, like Psychonauts 2. Because I like the first Psychonauts. What to do? What to do? And they're like, have you played the new, you know, whatever AAA that's out? No, because I'm too busy playing games that came out like 20 years ago. I'm catching up. I didn't really have consoles as a kid. I went outside or played games on the computer. It is nice. I don't want to be driven by FOMO. I think that might make it a little less fun. I just want to be driven by this looks fun and I want to play it. And my backlog gets bigger every day. Oh, that's useful at least. That would probably take me longer because I am not very skilled with platformers. I'm not great at them. Yeah, maybe when we're done with off, we'll keep with the theme of doing like a series of shorter games. Because we did do several long ones in a row, like goodness gracious. I'm forgetting all the things I played. My brain is blankety blank. But off is on the shorter end of what I've been doing, since mostly it's been like 12 or 13 part games this year. And that's like 3 or 4 months of a game. I was pretty short by RPG standards. Yeah, when you go into an RPG, I'm usually expecting like 30 hours, at least. Man, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to replay 9. Final Fantasy 9, because I really like that one. But that's definitely one of those that'll be like a long one. 9 would probably be like easily a 30, 40 hour game. So that would not solve the problem. But 9 is so good. But I don't mean Final Fantasy 9. And I have already played Final Fantasy 9, so maybe I just should only stick with things that are new to me to get new experiences. It is nice to come and, you know, revisit things you played previously and be like, yay, hooray, this is why I liked it, kind of thing. Certainly that was the case with me and Okami. My comfort game. Yeah, and I've already played replayed 10 a number of times, so I've only played 9 once. 9 seems like it'd be really nice to revisit, but I'm kind of waiting to see if they, like, I don't know, do a proper remaster of it. And again, there's other Final Fantasies that I've never tried. Like, I never tried, like, 6, 7, or 8. I don't know if I'd ever do 8, though. 8 seems like it'd be a little bit difficult. Yeah, I really like the music in 9. I think 9 might have my favorite battle music from the Final Fantasies. And I like the aesthetic of it a lot. Good aesthetics. Good character designs. Very sweet. 8's definitely got some good songs, but I really like 9 songs. Then again, yeah, I really like 10s as well. I mean, come on. It's hard to go wrong with any of those. We love us the musics. That's just like, I don't like whatever music is happening here. He's also had a rough day. Azzy Pants ship absolutely squashed right in front of him. Big sucker for NES sounds, maybe 4 or 5. 4 I hear is good. 5 seems to fall into that kind of like take it or leave it category. Honestly, I think if there's any like Final Fantasy X music people do not like to hear over and over again, it's the whatever is playing during the, you know, Albed home attack with the guy like yelling in Albed over the intercom constantly for like hours. Like, well, and we get it, evacuate home, whatever's going on. Oh, 5 has great gameplay? That's good to hear. Yeah, it seems like they lean into the customization thing with jobs. You can like do whatever job you want. I guess I can take it or leave it in terms of customization. Probably just depends on how I'm introduced to it. If they expect you to kind of already know how to do it and just, you know, leave you flailing, it might be in trouble. But if it's like, okay, here's how you do it, probably would do more with that. You know, we can see Susie being like, Chris, I want to eat a food. You've been talking for 4 whole pages. And why you gotta negotiate my snack time? Oh, is PR a Pixel remaster? Okay, that's what I thought. Pixel art is difficult and hard. I'm always impressed by people who can do it so well. Yeah, definitely that seems to be the case. You are coming to those games because you enjoy those mechanics. I guess some people do just go to them for the story and try and, you know, deal with the mechanics as it is. But I imagine there's also groups of people who are like, whatever story, I like the mechanics of it. There's something for everybody. Although in general, I do enjoy RPG mechanics. That's why most of what I play is RPGs. When I think about it, that's usually my genre of choice. I'm okay with racing games, even though I'm bad at them. I do enjoy me puzzles and stuff like that. I also like rhythm games. I do like rhythm games. I think the only genre so far that I just cannot deal with is anything that's a shooter. It's just really stressful. Like, I'm like, okay, I need to try, a wider variety of games. So I got Uncharted 2, and, I was playing along with it, and then as soon as we got to the part where you had to, go into a shooter section and shoot people, even though I think it was third person, not even first person, as soon as we got to that part, I just got really stressed out, and I never picked up the game again. I don't have fun with shooters. This is why I always lose at laser tag and paintball and whatever. Even fake, haha, squirt with a squirt gun or whatever things I'm not skilled at and I don't really have fun with. Yeah, if I can't even do third person, I probably definitely can't do first person. Sorry, this genre is not for me. Like, I could probably not even do something like Last of Us. Anything where it's like, okay, you gotta shoot things and they're shooting back at you or trying to get you, you gotta take cover kind of thing. So even if I do like a horror game, I probably can't do anything like Resident Evil or Silent Hill, something where you have to like weaponize fighting something or whatever. I will probably struggle. Things I have learned about myself. Thank you. I hope people enjoy the whole ending. It's gonna take me like 3 years to draw it all, and then it'll like all come out at once, or like over the course of like 40 days. 40 days and nights of Eldritchrune ending. If I do it like a release every other day kind of thing. And there's 20 parts, so that would be 40 days. So yeah, that's like over a month of Eldritchrune updates. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for saying so. I'm glad you're excited about it. I'm excited to show them whenever I can. Get ready for Eldritchrune month. Yeah, I'm just hoping I'll finish this before Chapter 6 comes out. Because I'm sure by that point the game is going to be really distracting, but I know I can't finish it before Chapter 5. So, crossing fingers I can somehow get it done before whenever Chapter 6 is out, which, who knows the timetable on that. If Chapter 5 is sometime next year. I'm assuming that 6 and 7 are also going to be released separately, but who knows? Those two might get put together. Yeah, that could be interesting. Always fun to try new designs for things. I'm gonna get as far as I can, as long as I can. Again, probably once I get to the last 5 or 6 parts, Won't be able to stream those because they'll be too spoilery. Yeah, it might be a little bit much. Might have to simplify that kind of design. You know, I somehow never realized this until, like, was pointed out in a podcast I was listening to. Chris is pretty much wearing Asriel's hand-me-downs. Okay, I think this is going to have to be... Actually, this might have to be our... You know what? Actually, no. We'll make this our last... we won't do the middle one for now. This is going to be our last drawing for the day. Have Susie talking to Chris. And then I shall have to get lunch and do the many other things I gotta do. Including a last bit of holiday shopping, because I didn't get the thing I needed yesterday. I will try again today. Also gotta go to the bank at some point. Ugh. Things to do! Oh, it's gonna rush up on me so fast. I have one more week until, traveling home. Gotta do so much before then. But I'll still do an art stream next week. Because I can do it. Susie's finally getting impatient. Like, please let me take the treat off my nose. Please. Please. I mean, they probably use the gradient then, right? I use those in art quite a bit, actually. That is one place where digital art is very convenient. You can make very nice, clean gradients very quickly. Oh, well, what was the effect? What did they do? Because that could make a difference. Freckle! Susie Freckle! Okay, that's fine. That is fine. We're almost done here. Teeth, 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 teeth. Don't do them teeth. I got this pen once at an artist alley. I don't remember the artist for it, but it's just like a pen that has all these human teeth with the words around it going teeth, 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 teeth. And I'm like, yes, I need this for my collection. I need it. So now I have a nice enamel pen that says teeth, 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 teeth. Horrible and very cool teeth. Alright, alright, alright. We did it. We've done it. We do it. It is time to stop for now. Hooray! We also added quite a few things to the doodle page. It is getting almost filled up. So, I think when I do another stream next Sunday, we'll be finishing up the rest of the character cleans for this, and probably hopping back to something else to start doing some fills, because that's another area. At least I can do that on stream and make progress on that. Yeah, Susie's finally lost her patience. She wants to foods. We'll find out what happens with that next week, because that's when I'll continue with it. And it'll be fun and good. In the meanwhile, thank you guys so much for coming to the stream and chatting with me. It's been fun. And yeah, so later on this week, we'll finish up off on Friday, which will be crazy. And then we'll finish this next Sunday, which will also be crazy. So thank you guys so much for coming, and I hope your day and the rest of your week goes well, as we're getting closer to the end of the year. Ah, okay, I'm going to scream. Anyways, take care of yourselves. Thank you again so much for hanging out with me. It's always fun. And yeah, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And I will see you next time. Alright, I'll see you later.